Hello, welcome, Professor Tirthankar Roy from the London School of Economics. We are going to ask just a couple of questions related to the seminar has just finished on colonial legacies and the persistent over time. Your paper was related to the British Empire in India, and you stress very clear differences between the British rule when India was a colony and the independent Indian government. Could you please summarize your main points in drawing this distinction?
The most important differences were twofold. One was that India had a much more open economy, that is free trade, more or less free migration and free movements of capital during the British rule. And India started its post-colonial experience with a very closed economy in all of these respects. The second difference was that the British imperial state in India was quite a small state in terms of its tax capacity, its total size in relation to national income, whereas the post-colonial state was a much larger state. So it could produce public goods, it could invest money in health, education, or agricultural development to a much greater degree than the imperial state could. On the other hand, it lost some of the advantages of accessing the world market, which it had before.
Okay, the second question would be your overall balance of the colonial British rule in India, but not as the standard view. I mean, I would like you to give a different view on the colonial legacy of the British rule for independent India.
Yes, you are right. I mean, my view on on the gains and costs of colonialism in terms of economic history or economic change is quite different from the mainstream nationalistic view that still prevails in India about when Indian economists or historians look back to their past. The difference is here that most nationalistic history would believe that the open economy had hurt Indian interests. It had damaged Indian interests. I believe with many other colleagues in the profession that openness had significant advantages. It made for a much easier exchange of knowledge, skills. It created a trading world which had made a lot of people very rich, wealthy, and these wealthy people then invested in education, healthcare, and roads and other types of public goods or semi-public goods. So the advantages of openness are quite prominent in my understanding of what had happened in 19th century India or colonial India. I think the counterfactual, the way I would have liked India to go after 1947 would be a free nation, a free society, large government. In all of these respects, it's different from its past. A large government that spends on some of the most important challenges of development, such as raising agricultural productivity, but which did not close itself to the outside world.